All right, my friends, we have made it to chapter 11 of the Panda puzzle. Ruth Rose has come back with Officer Fallon to rescue Dink and Josh from the cellar. We'll go ahead and read this last chapter. If it hadn't been for you kids, Flip would have gone away with it, Officer Fallon said later that evening. Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose were sitting on the lawn at Panda Park. Inside the fence, Ping and Winnie were playing tug of war with a stalk of bamboo. Winnie's fur was once again black and white. Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose were clean too. A few hours ago, they had surprised their families by showing up completely covered in coal dust. He'd have picked the money at midnight and then let you kids out of the coal cellar, Officer Fallon continued. So no one could have ever proved that he took Winnie or locked us in, right? Dink asked. Officer Fallon nodded. That's right, he said. No one saw him take Winnie or lock that trapdoor. He'd have hidden the money somewhere. In a year or so, he might have begun spending it. Were you really going to leave $1 million in the hollow tree? Josh asked. Officer Fallon nodded. Flip knew we had no choice, he said. Just then, Ping yawned, rolled over on her back, and went to sleep. Winnie cuddled up next to her and chewed the bamboo stalk. Too bad Win Francis isn't here to see this, Dink said. Did she leave Flip any money? Ruth Rose asked. Some, Officer Fallon said. But I guess Flip thought that he should have had all of it instead. Did he confess? Josh asked. Officer Fallon nodded. You should have seen his face when I walked into the gym with Ruth Rose. He thought I was still in the coal cellar, Ruth Rose said. I must have looked like a ghost. What will happen to him? Dink asked. Well, he'll probably go to jail for attempting to steal money, Officer Fallon said. Plus, he stole Winnie and trapped you kids in a cellar. Everyone was quiet for a moment. Sometimes a judge will give a younger person a second chance, especially if it's his or her first crime. Flip seemed sorry for what he did. The judge might ask him to do community service in place of some jail time. What's community service? Dink asked. That means that Flip would do work for Green Lawn as part of his sentence. Well, what kind of work? Officer Fallon smiled. You guys got any good ideas? I do. He could give free gymnastics lessons to kids. And he could help out at the senior center, Josh said. He could do exercises with the old people. I'm sure Flip would be willing. He'd be good at it too, Officer Fallon said. And his grandmother would be proud of him, right? Ruth Rose asked. I knew Win Francis for many years. She'd be sad about what Flip tried to do. But she was a woman who always gave people the benefit of the doubt. Win would give her grandson a second chance too. So this is what they mean by a win-win situation, Josh asked. Exactly, Officer Fallon said. Now how about I treat us to some ice cream cones at Ellie's? That's a Josh situation, Dink said, smiling at his friends. The end. So I really enjoyed reading the Panda Puzzle A to C mysteries to you guys. Happy that Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose were able to solve that mystery of the missing baby panda. If you like this book, there are tons of other A to Z mysteries that you can read. And this page kind of shows you all of the different ones that you could read. For example, let's see. The Deadly Dungeon, that's the D one. Ooh, the Empty Envelope, the Falcon's Feathers, the Goose's Gold, the Haunted Hotel, the Jaguar's Jewels, the Lucky Lottery, the Missing Mummy. So many good fun stories. We're going to read about helping Dink and Josh and Ruth Rose solve the other mysteries. All right, guys, happy reading.